Okay, so here's my cardigan on the floor, and I've put them together with stitch markers down the side so I can try them on. And for the armhole, I do about 8 inches, and I put my first marker there and then I try it on. But I will count the stitches down each side down here to make sure I've got it exact. So I'll go and put it on and we'll see what it looks like. So here you go, I've got the cardigan on, and once I've done the sleeves and sewn up the sides, then I'll be able to decide on the width of my button band. But this is what it looks like at the back. So I don't like to have long cardigans where you sit on them because then they stretch out of shape, but you could do your cardigan right down to here if you wanted to. So unusual colour for an adult. You'll be able to see me in the crowd. So there you go. That's what it looks like on at the moment. So let's show you how I pick up the sleeves, and I'm going to do a cable down my sleeve. So I'll show you how I pick up the stitches, so I can do the sleeves. Right, so here we are up at the desk. So here's my shoulder seam, and I've taken out all the stitch markers so I can lay it flat, except for the one where I measured down for my armpit, and then there's one over on this side as well. So I'm going to start on the right hand side, and I've got the yarn ready for from my new ball of wool. And don't forget to use the needles that you're using for the body of your work. Don't use your smaller size that you use for the ribbing. And so this is just how I do it. So I pick up 3 stitches and then I miss one, and I pick up 3 and I miss one, and I work all the way along. And when you get to the shoulder seam, it's just quite easy just to keep counting along. You can miss that seam there, but that could be 1 and that could be 2, and you just skip along it. It's perfectly fine. So I pick up, I'll just show you, I pick up these 2 stitches right here on the very end. Everyone has their way of doing things, and so just do whatever suits you. So I just put my needle in, and I just put the yarn over for the first one just to pick up that yarn to go through the hole. And as you notice, I'm holding the yarn in my right hand because it's just easier. I can pull the yarn tightly. So I find my next stitch right beside it, and it's easy to see. It's hard for my eyes to see, but you've got a little stitch there in the middle, so you know that's going to be your next stitch. So I just go into the next one, and just for a while I have to tighten it there. So make sure you're using your working yarn, your long piece of yarn, and I hold it in my right hand and I go around so I can actually hold it tight, because to hold it tight it's easy to pick up the yarn as you come through the hole. And so there's my next stitch right next to it. So I sort of just like knitting a stitch. So I've got 3, so I'm going to miss that one, and I'm going to go into the next one. And it's just like knitting around your stitch, and hold it quite tight so you can pull it through. That's 1, 2, 3. So I don't know if you can see. The next one's, even my eyes find it hard to see. The next one's there, so I'm going to jump way over to there, and I just put my fingernail right beside it sometimes so I can actually see. Pick up your working yarn, just like you're doing a knit stitch, and pull it through. It's 1, 2, 3, and then when you look at this, you can see it's in groups of 3. There's 3 there, there's 3 there, and there's 1 missed in between each. And I just keep pulling that one tight because that'll get sewn up later. So I'm just going to work my way across. So I miss one and I pick up the next one. 1, 2, where is it? There. It's a gloomy day and it's been raining, so there's not much light. I've got my lamp on, so I miss that one and I'll go right over to this one. And so I just keep working right across to the end, and then I'll come back because I want to show you how I'm going to put these stitch markers in for my cable, but that'll be just the same as the front. Right, there you go. So I've picked up all my stitches. Took me a while. And then this is how I did the cable on the other cardigan. Here's the shoulder seam. And so I just picked up the 6 stitches right in the middle and then the 3 each side. This cardigan's getting really scruffy now. I've been wearing it so much at home in the winter. So I'm just going to use a shoulder seam again and do that, 3 on each side, and then the other 3 for the border. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. So I'm just going to put, that will be the cable, so I count 3 over here. So I'm just going to try and put this through here. That'll be where I start my purl rows. Might as well use another green one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so 3 that side, 3 for the border. So is that about right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So then all I do now is when I do the purl row, when I come up to this first stitch marker, I will actually stop purling and I will do the 3 knit to start that border. And then I'll do the 6 purl and then 3 knit. And so what I'm going to do is the same as I did the other side. Because this is basically going to be row 1, row 6 will be on the even side, and that's when I'll do the twisting. But that's when I'm going to do my decreasing on each end. I'm just going to knit 2 together. And so that way it's all on the same row. Row 6 will be where I decrease and do the cable twisting. So I'm just going to purl this side, and so when you do your next sleeve and you pick up your stitches, just count these stitches on your needle and make sure you pick up the same on the other side to keep it more or less the same. Whoops. Move the camera down a little bit so you can just see what I'm doing. So I'll just be purling this side as normal. And when I get up to the stitch marker, I will just remind you what I'm doing. So I'm just coming up here to my stitch marker, and it's gone through the stitches, so I'll just take that off. It's a bit hard when you're putting it on the needle, and then I'm going to make sure I do 3 knit stitches on the side. Then go back to my 6 purl, and then I'll do my 3 knit stitches, and then I'll go back and finish purling to the end. So there you go, I've done my purl row, and this is what I'm going to do, the same as what I did last time. This was my workings out. Every 6th row, the first row I twisted on the 5th row, and then after that I twisted on the 6th row. If you've actually watched my tutorial for the front for the cables. So I've just done, we'll start down here. I'm just going to make, I've done row 1, which was actually a purl row. So when I get up to row 6, I'll do the twisting, but I'll do the decreasing. I'll come along and show you that. But that's how I'm going to do the sleeves, and then I'll put it onto waste yarn every so often and try it on. But I'll show you that process as I go along. Okay, so I'm up to my 6th row, so I'm ready to do my cable. So just the same as when you did it on the front of your cardigan, I'm taking off the first 3. I put them at the front. If you put the cable needle at the back, if you put it at the back there, just be consistent and always do it the same. I just knit the next 3. And then I knit the next, these 3 on the cable needle. I do it a lot slower for you to follow on the cable fronts. If you haven't seen on the fronts of the cardigans, if you haven't seen that video already, then you need to go back and have a look. Okay, so that's my first twist, and then I'll just carry on knitting the rest of this. So I've finished the row, and there's my twist starting. So I took out the stitch markers I had because they just get in the way. So I'm just going to carry on down the sleeve like that, and I decrease 2 at the beginning of this row, and I knit 2 together the same on the end of the row, and I'll do that every time I twist. It's just easier to do it at the same time. So here's my little piece of paper where I work things out. You can see I've just done my number 6 there, and that's a tick for the knitting 2 together at the beginning of this row, and I tick again at the end of the row when I knit 2 together. There are so many times on the other cardigans when I knit 2 together at the beginning of the row, and I forget to knit 2 together at the end of the row, and I realised a row or 2 later, I think, did I knit 2 together? So this is my little system. It's just easy to find your own little system. It doesn't matter how funny or weird it is, as long as it gets things done. So I'm just going to carry on in this pattern, twisting every 6th row and knitting 2 together on the same row that I twist, and I'll keep going for a little bit along the sleeve here, and every so often I'm going to put it onto a piece of waste yarn, just like I did when I started the back with the ribbing, and then I'll put all the stitch markers back in and try the cardigan on again and just see how wide the sleeve is and how much decreasing I need to keep doing. But I will show you that in a new video, in a different video. So I hope this helps you. Just get motivated and have a go trying something different. You don't have to do the cable. If you're not doing the cable, just knit backwards and forwards, do your knit row and your purl row, but just remember to do your knitting two together on each end every so often. Otherwise, you'll have a great big wide sleeve. So I hope this has helped you. This is how I do my little system, and it's all coming together nicely. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.